Oh. I think the train's through. All right. I was letting the train pass. Anyway, I'm going to call the meeting to order. I do certify we have a full board, a quorum of commissioners present. As usual, the second item on our agenda will have the prayer and the pledge to both the flags. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you for all the blessings you've given us. Ask you for protection of our firemen in our fire district. Be with us tonight as we deliberate the agenda items. Again, ask for a good meeting. We ask for your input and give a safe journey as we go to respective homes. Thank you for your goodness and your mercy that you've given us. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen. Here's the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Third item on our agenda tonight is welcoming our guests. So guests, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming. Item number 4 on our agenda is where we take public comments. Remind each of those talking comments are limited to 3 minutes. From that, our maximum time for the comments is a 30-minute session from that. Realize that the board may not be able to deliberate on items or matters not listed on our agenda for that. So, Mr. Licardi, you got three you want to talk about, but you got 3 minutes. So, yeah, you get to be first. Come approach the microphone.
Hi, Craig Licardi from Flint. Let me get to my. I had some notes and they have disappeared just a moment ago. So I'll try to be brief since I'm not going to be able to speak to each one of these in full. The first thing I wanted to mention is on item number 5, the September 28th regular meeting. The minutes for that were not available prior to the last meeting. There was a public information request that went out, and that public information request, it's been almost 3 weeks, and we just got that information a few days ago. That's not acceptable. The public needs to have the information available to them to know what's happening with our elected officials and what's happening with our dollars. Item number 6, there's something that I needed to clarify about a company called NAFCO. Obviously, they provide quite a bit of equipment and gear and bunker gear. But I'm just curious, when there's an entry that says gear, what that actually entails. What kind of gear is it that our tax dollars are buying? And on this particular approval, there's over $53,000 going to them for bunker gear. And then there's another line item later, that's an additional $22,900. And I'm just curious if that's for the 30 employees that were recently hired that was only supposed to be 18. There's additionally, a number of expenses for a company in Lindale for clothing and uniforms, and it totals in tens and tens of thousands of dollars. I would like to go back to see the check register, but the check register hasn't been updated in 2.5 years on the website to see how much money we've actually been spending by vendors. In addition, in item 16, my understanding is that this board passed a resolution that the sales tax revenue is supposed to be earmarked specifically for payroll and personnel. And the idea that we're going to take 1/12 of the projected sales tax revenue, $630,000, and move it from the sales tax where it's earmarked for personnel and payroll and put it into the general fund is wrong. It's just wrong. Now, on the agenda, I'm not sure if it's 630,000 because it's missing a zero. If you move the comma, it's only 63,000. I don't really know how much it's supposed to be. I'm assuming 630 because that's the round number that was used for the annual budget. And the last thing I wanted to mention is in item 25. Item 25 is where you've got to discuss, consider taking necessary action on personnel employment. I hope this board is going to do the right thing and reverse course on violating the trust of the citizens. Reverse course on violating the oath of office to faithfully execute your duties as elected commissioners. I'm calling on you to do what you should have done immediately when one of your employees went over and above you, and emasculated you and ignored your decisions and authority as a board. I really hope this board isn't going to add additional insult to injury and further injure both the citizens and this county's hardworking volunteer firefighting force yet again in an attempt to hire even more paid staff than you already have. If this number 25 agenda this evening involves doing that, you can be guaranteed you'll cement your legacy on this board as one that ends in shame. I hope you will do the right thing, not pursue an ill-advised and egregious breach of taxpayer trust. Most taxpayers don't really understand the dynamics of the snubbing of the volunteers and all that, as there's a march towards a 24/7 all paid staff. But I guarantee you that if myself and a lot of other folks who couldn't be here tonight, because we're getting ready for the election tomorrow, will make sure that the taxpayers know how much of their hard-earned wages are being unnecessarily confiscated to pursue building a kingdom. Rest assured, this will be hashed out in the court of public opinion, and we'll see that starting tomorrow. There's a reason 8 out of 10 volunteer chiefs endorsed a candidate running against the incumbent board president. And there's a reason that the only public endorsement for the board president came from an organization created less than 6 weeks ago. There's a reason that volunteer retention isn't pursued more vigorously. And while I don't hold out a whole lot of hope that the majority is going to do the right thing regarding what I mentioned just before, I am confident that beginning in January, the new board will be able to rectify much of the current recalcitrant actions. Thank you.
Next on our agenda is Mr. Dennis Ford. Mr. Ford, would you approach the podium and speak loudly into the microphone?
I'm here tonight representing the city of Art. Some years ago, the city recognized the need for a fire department here, and we passed a bond election to build the fire station over on Longview Street. Now that we've moved into a fantastic new fire station here, I understand that you're going to dispose somehow of the old building. The city of Art would like to be taken into consideration in your efforts to dispose of that building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Our next speaker is Nathaniel Moran.
Chairman Melton and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'll start my timer and be cognizant of the time for you. I'm here to speak about item number 24. As you know, I'm Nathaniel Moran, the Smith County Judge here in Smith County. And I want to talk to you briefly because first I want to thank you for your service. It's a difficult thing to be in elected service and a difficult thing to be called upon to make tough choices. I understand that intimately, and so I thank you for your service here today. But secondly, though, I want to have a conversation with you about this EMS ambulance service RFQ process, and I feel it necessary to make my position very clear to you as you move forward and determine what you as an elected official and as a board want to do with this process. I think it's only fair that I'm transparent with you about the choices I think that we're going to make as Smith County Commissioners Court so that you can make appropriate choices here as ESD number 2. I'm going to ask you tonight or in the future to terminate the RFQ process immediately and indefinitely. That's what I'm going to ask you to do. And here's why I want you to do that. Here's why I think it's necessary for you to do that. Both on a practical and a legal basis, I want you to understand kind of where we're coming from. And I want to invite you also, because 3 minutes is certainly not enough time to get into this in detail, but each one of you, each commissioner here, I would invite you to call me, sit down with me, and I want to go through with all of this with you one-on-one and in great detail. But this is something I'm intimately familiar with. My personality, as you know, is such that I don't look for areas of conflict. In fact, I think that being transparent and upfront on the front end helps us avoid conflict. So that's what I'm here to do today, is to be upfront with you about where this process is going to end up with me and my recommendation to the Commissioners Court. Commissioner Nix is also here as well. As you know, Smith County has a joint agreement with the City of Tyler through the EMS Administrative Agency that already has an exclusive contract in place for ambulance services here in Smith County. That's with UT Health East Texas. We're proud of that contract. We appreciate the partnership we have with UT Health East Texas. And so I want to encourage you today not to disturb that. And here's why. Practically speaking, if you seek to disturb that contract, you're going to force the county into a position where we need to defend that contract so that it's not nullified, so that it doesn't become effectively unenforceable. Practically speaking, the people in Smith County enjoy great benefit by having an exclusive contract between the City of Tyler and Smith County, because it reduces the cost. It keeps us from having to provide subsidies for that service because of the number of transports that are provided in that arena. Overlapping or attempting to overlap a contract on an area where we already have is legally prohibited, in my opinion. And I think and I hope when you visit with your attorney about this, he's going to tell you the same thing. Smith County, under the Texas Health and Safety Code, has the exclusive right to enter into exclusive contracts with EMS providers. You as a body have that right as well, but only if we're not in that space. We are already in that space. So for you to come on top of that space is going to create a conflict with the contract that we already have in place. And we as an entity are set and determined to defend that contract and defend the rights of our third-party partners, including UT Health East Texas, in that process. Secondly, the Texas Health and Safety Code 773.0573 requires a letter of approval from the Commissioners Court on any EMS provider that is not already in the county. So even if you could provide a contract for an EMS provider that is new to the county, we would have to approve that at the county commissioners level. And I can tell you, I will not recommend to the Commissioners Court that they do that. So there are substantial legal hurdles for you to get over before you actually get to the place where you enter into an EMS contract. And practically speaking, it does not benefit the citizens of Smith County for you to do so. I'm sorry that we have not been able to have this conversation before today. I didn't anticipate that last month you guys were going to actually go out with an RFQ process. Even though it was listed on the agenda, my understanding was that you just simply wanted to address certain issues with the EMS provider. I'm happy to address any questions tonight, but I want to be clear about this, and here's where I'll conclude my remarks tonight. I have great resolve to defend the contract that we have in place with our EMS provider, UT Health East Texas. I know the City of Tyler is likely going to feel the same way, and us as a joint EMS administrative agency are going to do so. So I would encourage you to terminate the process, the RFQ process that you started last month, terminate it immediately, terminate it indefinitely, and focus on the core responsibilities of this body, which are not EMS and ambulance services here in Smith County. We've already got that covered. Questions for me today?
Read one thing, and then I know you and I are going to have a meeting. Have you read the Commissioner Court minutes from August 2007?
I think I know what you're referencing, and you can go ahead and read it if you'd like to. I'll be glad to address that. I'm happy to address that because in 2007, of course, it was a much different time. You guys were not an elected body. You guys were under the Commissioners Court at that point for appointments and authority. Since that time, we have also entered into an amended or a renewed contract for EMS services. So whatever you're going to reference in 2007 actually has no bearing on our present day situation and really does nothing to support an argument that you guys have the ability or the authority to move forward with an EMS contract.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Questions? Commissioner Perryman.
That was my question as well, was what you just answered it, and he just asked the same question, was what was your opinion on the 2007 language? So it's been covered.
Yeah, and I would actually like to get the firsthand document from you. I think I know what you're referencing, but I'd like to get that just to make sure that we're on the same page. But because of the chronology of events, you guys know this contract goes back to 1992 and had a 25-year time frame. It was renewed. It goes through 2040. Until that time period, unless and until there is a deficiency that the Medical Control Board determines as a recommendation to the EMS Administrative Agency that would provide a basis for us not to continue to renew that contract on an annual basis and push those 5-year segments out. Unless and until that happens, this contract is going to stay in place.
I have the document here I'd like to give to you when you leave.
That'd be great. Any other questions for me today? Thank you. I appreciate the time today.
We now move to item number 5, which is our consent agenda. Consent agenda. Gentlemen, on a consent agenda, it has to do with the approval of our minutes from our regular September meeting, September 28th, and then also the minutes from our call meeting on October the 22nd. Also with consent agenda is our monthly financial reports from September in there. So they are provided for you in the book if you've had a chance to review our monthly financials.
I move to approve.
Okay. Motion's been made to approve. Do I hear a second? Mr. Perryman makes the second to that motion. So, gentlemen, all in favor of the approval of the consent agenda, A and B, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. 6th item on our agenda tonight is where we pay our bills, invoices, our requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, or transfer of funds, and any amendments. So 6A, B, and C is paying our bills, anything over $2,000. Again, the items under number 6 is under tab 6 in your notebook. Hopefully you've had a chance to review our monthly financials. And if there's no comments or questions, I would entertain a motion to approve item number 6 on our agenda tonight.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Mr. Wilson makes the motion to approve.
Second.
And Mr. Biggers makes the second to that motion. So all in favor of approval of item number 6, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 7th item on our agenda tonight is action regarding the radio contract we have with UT Health. Terry, you want to take it from here? Explain about the renewal, updating of the contract.
This is just the contract for the use of the radio system. I believe the other users have already approved the contract. Our current contract actually went out in September. Had a little back and forth on some tweaking of wording. I think it's all taken care of. I believe the Commissioners Court approved this, and I think City of Tyler's approved it, and so basically I'm just bringing it to y'all to approve the agreement.
The copy of the contract is in your board books. Have any questions or comments for Terry, or any questions about the contract?
Make motion to approve the contract.
Okay. Mr. Biggers makes the motion. Matt makes a second set motion. So, gentlemen, all in favor of the approval of the contract with UT Health, say aye. 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 Any opposed? And motion carries for that. 8th item on our agenda tonight has to do with action on a lease purchase of 800 megahertz radios from Motorola at a cost of a little over $1 million. First payment due next budget year. Terry, tell us about it.
Okay, currently our radios are at the end of life. They've been that way for a couple of 3 years. You can't get repairs done on them. They don't make parts for them anymore. We've been crippling along trying to get through as long as we can. We finally got to that point to where we're having radio failure quite often. They're not very dependable. So I've been talking with Colin Wenzel. Colin? All right, this is Colin. He is our Motorola rep for Motorola Solutions. We've gone into kind of a joint buying with City of Tyler and Smith County, and I'm not really sure what Smith County is going to do at this time, but they've been talking with Colin and do a group purchase. Even though we will purchase our own radios, other entities are going to be purchasing radios also. So we've got, if you look in there, we have a couple of different scenarios. The worst case scenario is the Tex One package. That's the best we could get if we were on our own, if we were the only ones buying radios. The total contract price for that is $1,192,000, and that's for 275 radios. If you look onto the next page, you will see one that gives us it's called a one-time system initiative towards combined regional subscriber procurement by 11/20/2020. So we're getting $119,263 discount by purchasing these radios, and the Smith County and City of Tyler will be purchasing radios. I haven't been involved with that, but I just go by what Colin said. He knows what's going on, and he offers this incentive to us. The radios are, the list price are $6,631, and the Tex One price, which is the price that we could get them for, is $3,662, and then you have chargers, multi-unit chargers, spare batteries, and all. Total contract price for that, including the incentive, is $1,073,367. Look on down at the very bottom, it shows financing options. That's lease purchase. So a 3-year lease, the annual payment's $376. 5-year lease, $230,000. 7-year, $168. 10-year, $122,000. If we choose to go that route and go on a lease purchase on one of those yearly amounts, the first payment for the lease will not be due until a year from now, so it will be in the next budget year that we would be having to make the first payment. So that's basically it, and the board can discuss what how you want to handle that, or I will entertain any questions.
You mentioned that the city of Tyler and the county was also looking into this program. Do all 3 entities have to agree to the same year terms?
Colin, would you come up and address that, please?
Repeat the question.
The question was, does all 3 entities have to agree to the same number of year terms in this contract?
No, the financing can be done individually. It's just a matter of the total number of radios.
Hey Terry, what's the lifespan? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I didn't mean to. What's the lifespan on the radios, on the new radios? I know we've had the other ones for forever.
Within 7-year lifespan. However, I mean, these radios will last you 10, 15 years minimum. I mean,
Thank you.
These radios that we're looking at, they're the XE, they're a rugged radio. I have physically seen them set it in a bucket of water. They would go through the rest of the demonstration, take the radio out of a bucket of water and talk on it. It's designed for fire service. It's very rugged. We have looked at other brands of radios. We diligently work to try to see if we can get another brand of radio. We've tried them. They just don't hold up, and there's issues with the radio themselves on our system. It's not necessarily that it's a bad radio, it's just that it doesn't work with a Motorola system like the Motorola radios work, because the entire system here is a Motorola system. So that's why I'm not bringing other brands to the board for purchase, only Motorola, because after extensive research and testing, this is the radio that we have came up with that we think fits our bill.
Terry, will this furnish the volunteers and paid firemen with new radios, all of them?
Yes, we currently have, I think, just a moment, let me look at that. I don't remember where I put it.
While you're looking that up, what's the warranty on these radios?
3-year warranty.
3-year.
Okay, currently we have a total of 251 radios that are put out to the volunteers, to the command platform, to some of the paid staff, throughout. So we just Larry did a restructure of radio about, 3-4 months ago, and he logged 251 radios that are being used on the system. We're asking for 275 because we've got people coming on board that's going to need radios also. And so that's why we're asking for the 275. But currently, 250 includes all of our volunteers that the radios are currently assigned to.
Thank you.
Last question, is there any value left in the radios? Are we going to sell the radios that we have, or are they just go in the trash? What's kind of the thought there?
Colin, we had talked about it. I don't know if you found out anything on that.
The trade-in with the tax-worn discounts and the discounts we are able to offer, unfortunately, we can't offer any extra discount for a trade-in, but I mean, I'm happy to take care of.
Okay, so what we may do is gather them all up and go through an auction process and put them on the internet, you know, and sell them for what we can. That'll just be up to the board how you want to do that.
I know where I work, we purchase a piece of monitoring equipment. 2 years later, they says we no longer support this piece of equipment. Then we have to repurchase because we can't get parts or anything to repair them. Is there any kind of a guarantee that these will not be obsolete in the after the 3-year warranty?
So whenever we give any cancellation for radios, we'll give at least a 5-year heads up of, hey, in 5 years from now, these radios are going to be canceled, so I guess make your plans and look towards the future. However, these are the top-of-the-line radios we have for firefighters right now. We're not looking to discontinue these at any time in the near future at all.
Yeah, I make a motion, we go with the best case scenario. The
Yeah.
cost difference is a ballpark. It would save us $120,000. And also, I like the fact that we don't have to make our first payment till the next budget year.
All right. A motion? You put that in form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we've had a motion to approve the best case scenario, which is $1,073,367. That's the way I see it. Do I hear a second? Mr. Wilson seconds the motion. Gentlemen, any further discussion before we take a vote?
Which lease are we looking at? There's 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, and 10-year.
Oh, now you want to get nitty-gritty about which one. So we need to pick one tonight.
Did you recommend a 3-year lease?
It's up to the board, whatever y'all decide.
Is there any penalties if we pay it back earlier? Say if we pick a 5-year lease and decide to pay it back in 3 years, any prepayment penalties?
Exactly.
We can do that, or?
Yeah. I mean, you can pay it back whenever you want. If it's a 3-year term, you'd pay it back in 3 separate payments.
Okay, so there's no penalty for paying ahead?
No.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay, make a motion to accept the best case scenario for $1,073,367 on a 5-year lease. It's actually, if you want to come look at it later, it's the cheapest interest rate as well. It's marginal, but it's the cheapest.
Okay. You going to second that amendment to the motion? Yeah, you did. Mr. Wilson seconded that. All right, gentlemen, all in favor of the approval of the best case scenario with the 5-year lease payout option, financing options? For approval, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion carries. Thank you, Colin. Ninth item on our agenda tonight, moving right along. Take necessary action on purchase of VHF radios for mobile communications for Bullard Volunteer Fire Department at a cost of $5,959, using $3,459 of our funds, along with the $2,500 grant they received from Center Park. Chief Walker, come talk to us.
First of all, thank you for letting me go right after item number 8. That softened you up quite a bit. We got a grant from CenterPoint for $2,500. I would like to match that. I have to spend at least $2,501. And after talking with Terry and working with David English, the 10 was about the right number that gets a VHF radio handheld in each truck. So approaching you guys asking for the $3,459.
Yeah. Okay.
And the reason, if you remember back about 2 or 3 years ago, we bought quite a few handheld VHF radios. We didn't buy any for Bullard because they still had some radios, but again, they're at the end of life. They're needing some major work done on them, and they're really not worth putting the money into. So since he's got the grant, plus putting some money with it, we're getting 10 radios for a good price, and they run Cherokee County. All right, Cherokee County runs on VHF radios. So in order to fulfill our contract with Cherokee County, they've got to be able to talk on VHF radios. And so this will allow them to update their radios, get radios in the trucks, have a couple at the station for people to grab when they go. So it's a needed item.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Mr. Wilson makes a motion to approve the purchase of those 10 radios. Do I hear Matt? Okay. Matt makes the second on that motion. Gentlemen, all in favor of the approval of the purchase of those VHF radios for Bullard VFD, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Again, the motion carries. Okay. 10th item on our agenda tonight is take action about workers' comp insurance. Okay. Catherine?
Okay, we have been reviewing the workers' comp insurance. So currently y'all are with VFIS. You'll still be with VFIS, but we'll be working with Benchmark Insurance Company. The cost versus what you were paying with Texas Mutual, your renewal was going to be, if you stayed within network, it was going to be $187,624 a year. I was able to negotiate a contract with Benchmark, and we were able to negotiate for $139,927 for the year on a total estimated payroll of $5.3 million. We were also able to increase the policy limit on bodily injury by disease from $500,000 to $1 million. And so what I need, I have bound the policy because it's a November 1st. We sent a payment in for $22,099. What I need is an ACH. We can pay the payments of $13,092 each month through August 1st, 2021. And your total savings is going to be $47,697 for the year.
Better policy, less money.
Better policy, less money.
Make a motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to go with benchmark for our workers' comp insurance. So all in favor of the approval, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. All right.
Thank you, Catherine, for saving us some money.
I also saved you some additional money. So
Yeah.
you have another policy, an accident and sickness policy through BFIS as well. So the renewal on that policy was $33,628. Because we have added employer-paid group life and AD&D insurance to the paid staff, we no longer need the AD&D through BFIS. It's just duplicate coverage. So that saves you additional $7,427 a year. And then also, we are removing Lindell VFD volunteers from that policy as well, which saves you an additional $3,000. So altogether, you're coming in right at about $10,500 a year that you're saving on that policy as well.
Are you moved to item number 11?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We are now on item number 11.
Sorry.
Yeah, item number 11. Still talking about workers' comp. So you're still saving some more money? Okay. Does she need to repeat?
Well, now, item number 11 is just the approval of the ACH for the monthly payment and deposit of $22,000 for the binder. And so what she was talking about was the accident policy that is really just an extension of the, not really extension of workers' comp, but we also have that we pay every year. And she saved a lot of money on that. This item 11 is just that you need to approve the ACH payments every month, because the payment will be like $13,000 a month. So if you'll approve it now for the next year, it'll automatically be drawn out of the account. And correct?
That's correct. Through August of 2021. Yes.
I make a motion that we approve that she's able to ACH the payments monthly for our workers' comp.
Matt makes the motion. Mr. Wilson is the first one I heard second that motion. So, gentlemen, all in favor of the approval of the monthly payments, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Is there any?
Motion carries. Good job, Catherine. Good job in that. 12th item on our agenda tonight has to do with 16 sets of bunker gear from NAFCO. Cost of $22,900.
Okay, so we're talking about saving money. We know that we've got quite a few volunteers that some of their bunker gear are going out of date this year. We're going to have to be replacing them. Captain Murillo is beginning to look at that, and we know we're going to have to replace a bunch of bunker gear. So NAFCO, for some reason, they have 16 sets of bunker gear that someone ordered but didn't pay for or didn't take. So they are sitting there holding these 16 sets. All right, so we negotiated a price down to $22,900 for those 16 sets. Based on what we have been paying in the past for bunker gear, that would be $1,431 a set. We currently pay $2,181 a set, so we're saving $750 a set for bunker gear, or on the 16, approximately $12,000. So if we purchase these for $22,900, we're saving $12,000, and we'll have the bunker gear to replace some of the volunteer bunker gear as they go out of date, or as we get new volunteers in, because we have no bunker gear whatsoever. The next page, it shows the sizes, and I have looked at the sizes and then looked at the sizes that we're currently putting out there for different people. And aside from maybe one or two sizes, these are standard sizes, and so we shouldn't have any problem using up this set of bunker gears. So, you know, we can save $12,000 up front by purchasing these 16 sets.
Yeah, I think one of the public comments was regarding what's in a set of equipment that when they just don't see everything? What's in a set of bunker gear?
Okay, so,
And also, can you add, how long, as a rule, does it, how much years of life do we historically get out of one?
so the maximum is 10 years. The maximum is 10 years. But if somebody really uses bunker gear, you're looking at maybe 7 years. I mean, we can send it off and get it repaired. And when I say bunker gear, that consists of a coat and pants. All right, so the $4,000 that was here for district gear, that's for gloves and hoods. So we have, your bunker, complete bunker gear set is coats, pants, hood, gloves, helmet, and boots. So we have to buy that stuff individually. This that I'm talking about is a pants and a coat. And so, and that's when we say bunker gear, when we're purchasing bunker gear, we're talking about pants and a coat. And then we purchase, as needed, boots, helmets, gloves, hoods, and such as that.
Make a motion.
Okay. Paul makes the motion. Leroy seconds the motion. So gentlemen, all in favor of approval of the 16 sets of bunker gear, signify your approval by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries from that. Item number 13 on our agenda tonight, discuss take necessary action on purchase of uniforms for new employees from FR Girls of Texas at the cost of $7,632. Terry, you want to mention what this is?
Okay, so we bought, the board has approved $50,000 towards uniforms. And I'm not going to go through all the breakdown of the uniforms, just for the current staff, the ones coming in, part-time personnel, and then our 30 that we hired coming in has got to have uniforms. So the board approved 50,000, I think. So basically, all you need to approve is $7,632 more, and that will get us completely outfitted with new Nomex Class B uniforms. And then sometime down the road, when the volunteers start doing their stopping shift work, if they're going to do a stopping, we're going to purchase them some Nomex uniforms, but at this time, we're not ready to do that. So an additional $7,632 is all that's needed to completely put everyone in Nomex bunker gear. I mean Nomex Class B, excuse me.
Okay. Mr. Wilson makes the motion for the approval of this item. Is there a second? Mr. Leroy makes the second to the motion. Without further discussion, it's time to vote. So all in favor of the approval of the purchase of those uniforms from FR Girls of Texas, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. No one opposed. 14th item on our agenda tonight. Discuss, consider, take necessary action on construction manager at risk proposals. Terry?
Okay, you know, we've been looking at a construction manager at risk for our 3 fire station remodels plus the administration building. Harris Craig sent out we put it in the paper, advertised, and we had 3 contractors come back with bids. It was WRL, Garrett and Associates, and RLM out of Longview. Without not getting into all the particulars of it, WRL, you'll look at the very first page, this is an evaluation form. This is where we actually grade each contractor, using specified amount of points and such that add up to 100. After grading them based on experience, past performance, there's bonding and insurance, safety, their financial response capability, and past work experience, all of that. The final grades were RLM came up with a 91, Garrett and Associates came up with a 90, and then WRL came up with the 100. And a lot of that was because, number one, their fee proposal was the lowest on both projects. They broke it up into two projects, the 3 station remodels and then the admin building. But it was bid as a group, okay? So WRL's fee proposal was the least expensive of the 3 contractors. Plus they've had past work experience with the design team and such as that. So after Harris Craig and myself both looked at this and we graded them according to the things you see. We came up with WRL as the one that we would like to have as our construction manager at risk.
Okay, refresh my memory. All right, this is on the 3 station remodels and a possible administration building, and if I'm, correct me where I'm in error here, we approved $25,000 to kind of get going down the road, and this is part of that process. Are we still within those parameters, or help me out?
Okay, let me see if I can get this straight again. So the fire stations remodeling is approximately a $500,000 to $600,000 project. So we've already approved in the $25,000 for the architect to begin the drawings and the engineering and such as that, okay? So now what we'll do, once we get a construction manager established, then they will actually give us a bid of what it's going to cost to build the buildings, and then we come back and vote on that procedure, on actually the building. So the admin building is at some point we're going to have to start working on the drawings for it, but I mean, we can put that on hold for a month or two. Let's get going really well on our fire stations, get those done, and once that is in order, we'll have the exact price or the maximum price on those 3, and then we'll know how much it's going to cost. Then we can go into the admin. So what you're asking is, you know, the $25,000, what are we going to use it for? So basically, it'll just be sitting there, and we can use it as part of the payment for the fire station remodels or whatever. So our main goal is to choose a construction manager, go through the process of them bidding the 3 fire stations and telling us how much they can build those for, remodel those. They're guaranteed maximum price. And if you remember back on these 2 stations, they gave us a guaranteed maximum price, said this is the amount of money, it will not be over this amount of money. Well, actually, when they got through, we saved nearly, or it was like almost $200,000 less on these 2 stations than the guaranteed maximum price. So that's the process in there.
I think I would just voice that I agree with the strategy of letting them go forward with the 3 remodels. I don't think there's a lot of, I think that's the more urgent issue, and it might be wise to let whoever the new board is in January be more involved in the administration building. But we're not moving any more money right now tonight, as I understand it.
That's correct. That's why the fee proposal summary is in 2 projects. It's the remodel of the 3 stations, and then the second one is the admin. So the same construction manager at risk will handle both of the projects, but they're in two separate forms. In other words, we'll do one, and then we can do the other. We can still do them simultaneously if we choose to do that, but they're going to be two different prices, a price for the remodel, price for the admin.
Thank you for that clarification.
So tonight, we're just going to pick a construction manager at risk, right?
Correct.
That's what you need from us tonight.
We need to decide out of those three contractors, we need to choose the construction manager at risk, and the architect and myself would like to see WRL because they're actually the lowest bidder of all.
Okay. All right.
Do you need a motion?
I need a motion to approve, hopefully, WRL.
Okay, I make a motion that we hire WRL as our construction manager at risk for the two projects, beginning with the 3 station remodels.
Okay. Matt made the recommendation, made the motion, and Charles is seconding that motion. All right. Jim and all in favor of approving WRL as construction manager at risk, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Item number 15, discuss, consider, take next action with Bullard Volunteer Fire Department brush truck from wildfire at a cost of $52,834.14.
Okay. So here's the way this goes down.
All right, so
Their brush truck, not worth fixing, so we ordered a cabin chassis for it. The current bed that is on that truck is past its life expectancy, basically. It's got an old fiberglass tank. The pump is not that great. Our original thought was we would purchase our own bed. Our shop would take an existing skid unit, try to adapt it over. Then after we got to looking at those, that bed is, the skid unit is not that great. Plus, we're going to be having to put new lights and everything on it. All right, so the shop actually contacted Wildfire and got a quote for a turnkey job for a new bed, all new pump, tank, the emergency lights, everything turnkey, mounted on the chassis that we currently have. And it was $52,800. So my recommendation is that in order to get a truck that's going to be usable for the next 10 years, we just go ahead and purchase this from Wildfire, send our chassis over there, let them completely build the fire truck up. When it drives back to us, it's ready to go in service. There again, we talked about back when we did our command trucks. Sometimes sending it out and letting somebody professionally just go ahead and build the truck out instead of our shop trying to spend all the time and effort to patch something together. It's just not worth it. So it's a recommendation of our shop to purchase this from Wildfire, have them build it, turnkey job. When it's here, it's ready to go.
Make a motion.
Second.
Paul makes the motion, Leroy seconded. Paul made the motion and Leroy seconds that motion for the approval of, I guess you call it the bed for our cabin chassis we've already bought for that truck. So anyway, motion to approve the purchase of the bed tank or whatever you call it for the brush truck. So gentlemen, all in favor of that purchase, signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 16th item on our agenda tonight is regarding the transfer of $630,000 from the sales tax account to the general fund account as approved in the recent budget. Terry, you want to talk what this is all about?
Yeah, first of all, there was a typo. It needed one more zero before the period, but it is 630,000. Basically, all I did was look at our budget that we approved last month, the income worksheet. In that income worksheet, it designated 630,000 a month from the sales tax to go into the general fund to pay for staffing and such. And right now, no, it's not going to be that much a month. So however the board wants to handle that, we do need to put some money from the sales tax into the general fund to pay for staffing, but I don't know how the board wants to handle that. I mean, it's just a matter of telling us what we need to put in there and what we need to transfer.
Okay, so just to clarify, this 630,000 is going to come from the sales tax account, but it's specifically being used to pay for staffing, correct?
Yes, correct. But currently, roughly 400,000 a month is probably all we need for the entire staffing that we pay. So if we want to say we want to transfer 400,000 into that account, into the general account to begin paying for it, we can do that. Or we could put 630,000 and then the next month, if we don't want to put but 100,000, I don't know. It's just however you want to balance it out. But this is just based off of what you approved as far as the budget and the income worksheet.
Okay, and just to further clarify for the public or the commissioners, we have this account for sales tax. We haven't drawn anything out of there yet, nothing. This would be technically considered our first draw out of sales tax, moving it over to the general fund where we pay payroll, and any of these monies that come out of sales tax would be specifically for staffing. I'll make a motion, but I want to make sure, does anybody else have any other questions?
I guess my only question with this is, when you cut checks, you put account numbers. Is there a way to do the budget codes, which say it comes out of this sales tax account, just on payroll?
That's an accounting question that I don't have an answer
That's an accounting deal.
That's a Gabby question.
Monthly transfer certain kinds of money, amount of money.
We should be able to do that. What we'll do is we'll talk with the CPAs to make sure that money is all earmarked just for salaries.
Okay. I think that's what we want.
Okay, then I'll make the motion to that effect, that we move at this time 630,000, but it be specifically for salaries only, and we authorize Catherine to speak with our CPA to see how we best need to do that.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Gentlemen, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 17 on our agenda, action regarding selling of the old ARP Fire Station number 1. In your board packet, you do have some information. Chief Arnold was kind enough to write some things down for us. That's in our board packet, if you've had a chance to read that. Chief Arnold, you want to come say a few words? You know you do.
This has been a long-going thing that's been going on. When we first started this, as y'all know, there wasn't a lot of direction from the board, and we were all kind of doing our own things. As things have progressed and y'all have gotten everything organized better, we had already purchased some property. Some of it was purchased before the ESD was formed with the intent of building the station. As time went on, the city acquired the land next to the current station. We still didn't have a whole lot of direction from the board at that point. And at my board's approval, we made a land swap with the city for the current station, the lot next to it, for the land that's now over here put into the park. everybody's got some money tied up in that old station. I understand that. We've got money tied up over here from the taxpayers, from the volunteer fire department, which is our community, because it was their donations that did it. So with talking with Mr. Ford, what I would propose for y'all to do, or for us to do, if you want me to handle it, is try to figure out about how much money we have tied up in the land, the demolition of the buildings that were there, try to find out how much money we put into the old station and come up with a fair amount that we've already got tied up from taxpayers. Then I would propose that we have it evaluated by a realtor and get an estimate on what the current value of the property is. We'll come back at that time. We'll sit down and try to come up with a value that we will offer to the city of ARP first, because they do have a definite need for it. If they can't come up with the funds within an appropriate amount of time, then we'll come back and revisit it again and put it on the market. That's what I think we ought to do. But it's up to y'all. Y'all got money tied up in it. We've got a little money tied up in it. At this point, I don't care, but we need to make a decision about how we're going to proceed.
Mac, I'm just lost on this one. Whose name is the deed actually in?
Our Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated.
If you had to guess, or somebody had to guess, I mean, shoot from the hip, how much do we have in it? I mean, is it a huge amount?
No, it's not going to be a huge amount. The two pieces of property that were bought here, I believe one was for $10,000 that the Volunteer Fire Department bought first, and we were using it as storage because we had no other place to put any equipment. And then the other piece of property that had the Baines house on it, which actually was 2 lots, I believe, and I'd have to go back and research this, it went for either $15,000 or $20,000, and then the demolition of those properties. And then the other reason why we transferred the building itself over to the city, from the city to the fire department, was because the ESD was not wanting to put any money into a building that they did not own at that time. So to be able to do the repairs that were necessary, the lighting in there was shot. We spent over $10,000 on the lighting, and if I believe correctly, the apron on the back was in such bad shape. We put the concrete down a few years ago, and I'm thinking that was around $10,000 also. So there's some money tied up. I'll get some figures together for you, and so we can sit down and talk this again.
But you'd agree that the citizens of ARP have got the vast majority of funds in that building?
Sir?
The citizens of ARP have paid for the majority of that use?
The citizens of ARP in this community gave us donations, and that's what we started with. And of course, their tax dollars are tied up with what we purchased over here. But the citizens of ARP also were the ones that voted in to build the old station to begin with for the fire department.
Sure.
I don't care how it winds up. I just want the city to be happy, us to be happy, and the taxpayers especially to be happy.
Absolutely.
I would like to refer this to our attorney.
Absolutely.
And come back, and we don't have to make any decisions tonight, but obviously we want to do what's fair.
Absolutely.
To the citizens of ARP, whatever that might be. I mean, obviously we do have some money that we put in it through the years, but you know, I'm not sure, you know, the best use of that property. Probably, you know, the city of ARP may have better use of that property now than us. But again, I'd like to, you know, have a chance for our attorney maybe do some research and find out where the title might be and things of that nature. And so
I'm good
before
with that.
we move forward. All right. So
You
want to make sure
that we table it?
we'll table it. Okay.
Confer with the attorney and bring
Yeah.
it back to the board at the next meeting, maybe?
Okay.
I'll second
Matt, you're
the
good with
motion.
that? Okay. Charles makes the motion to table it. Matt makes the motion, the seconds that motion. So, gentlemen, all in favor of tabling this item at this time, say aye. Yeah, go ahead.
But do we authorize him to meet with the attorney, Terry, or who going to get with the attorney?
We're going to, I'm going to give staff to Terry to take over, turn to him and see, at least start the ball rolling down there.
I'd like him to be involved.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
work with Mac, myself, and we'll, I guess, give with attorney and maybe Mr. Ford.
Yeah.
And if we can try to get a consensus of where we're at and what we need, and then let the attorney say, yes, we can do that, or no, whatever. We'll work through that.
Okay. All right. We need to vote, right? Okay. All right, all in favor of tabling that item, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, it carries. 18, we have some surplus equipment we need to auction off or get rid of somehow.
Okay. As you know, we've been replacing brush trucks, and we have a surplus of broken down cabin chassis and such over there that we've got to get rid of. If you'll look on your sheet, we have 2 skid units. We have the complete brush truck from Bullard that we're trying to replace that's not running. We have the ARP rescue / brush truck that's kind of running but in need of major repairs. The White House cabin chassis is running, but sometimes it just dies. That's the one we replaced. Red Springs cabin chassis that's not running. We have a truck bed from the shop too, and Red Springs also said they have a 1982, it's the old pickup, 81, old pickup, 4-wheel drive truck that's got a tank in it, and they're ready to get rid of it. So we've got a lot of stuff that we've got to get rid of, and there's other things over there little smaller things. So I'm coming to the board and asking the board, how do you wish to get rid of all this equipment? Because we've got to get it off of that property over there because we don't have any place to put anything.
Again, we sell it, do we have Terry to go out and find a vendor, put it on some internet sites? And before, we've talked to Mr. Wilson over here for his business.
Do you want to get an auctioneer, Terry, being we have that much equipment?
It's up to the board. I have no idea how you want to dispose of it.
Where is it at now?
All of it's at the shop. I mean, we have those old cabin chassis lined up, and they're just there. So some run, some kind of run, some doesn't run. Then we have like these skid units that are just been there for years, and we're not using them. So I don't really know how you want to get rid of them.
So you mentioned auctioneer. Are there companies that make bids? They're going to take a commission, but how do you evaluate auctioneers?
Well, have to be licensed with the state, I guess.
Or licensed, but do they have different commissions that they take?
Yeah. I know of one that has about 15 auctioneers across the state. Of course, you can refer several to talk to y'all about it, but there's one on Sand Flat Road that does just marvelous work. He puts them on everywhere. I can refer him to y'all. You can table this till you talk to him, or see if you want to do 2 or 3 or whatever. Doesn't make me any difference.
So how does that work? Will they have an auction at the premises, or we got to get these things to
yeah,
location?
they can do it at your premises, but they'd need to talk with you to see what they charge and all. I don't know. I can refer.
Do we have enough equipment to warrant hiring somebody, or is it easier to put it online? Let's just sell it online through an auction site that way.
Up to the board.
What would your
It's up
preference
to
be,
the
Terry?
board. I don't really want to go through having an auctioneer coming in for like 9 or 10 pieces of equipment, because you're probably not going to have many people come up there and bid on stuff. So if there's a way to do it, putting it online or taking, I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't sell stuff.
All right. So you know some names of some places on the internet we can put them?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
On Craigslist and about 150 sites across Texas, you know.
Okay. Well, let's authorize Terry to put them on a website and sell them. We'll find a company or list them on the internet.
You want me to put it on the internet?
Well, I want you to find a company or one of those sites to put it on I mean, do you know what the value is right
Well,
now? Or how would we know the value?
Charlie, will your
I don't
guy
know.
out there come by and look at it? Is he the
Yeah,
person
he'll
that-
go by and look at it. I can get you all that information before any decision's made, have him come by the shop. Shop personnel can show him all of it, and he can basically tell you what it's worth and what he'd charge and so forth and so on.
I kind of lean in that. That's fine with me too, because I think we're fighting over $5, high or low.
Right.
And if it's a local person in Smith County who's already paying taxes to us,
Right.
I'd rather let them have the business than a nationwide operator.
Okay, well, I can move that we table it until I can hook him up with y'all and the shop personnel, and y'all can bring it back to the board. It won't take him long.
Okay, we'll have something by next meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so you make that into motion?
I made that motion, and I will get the information to Terry, and he can get with the shop
Okay.
personnel and this auctioneer.
Okay, Paul.
Second the motion.
All right, motion made and second to table it, and you're going to work on that?
Yes.
Bring it back to us?
Okay.
All right. All in favor of tabling that item, say aye. Aye. All right. Any opposed, and the motion carries. Number 19 on our agenda tonight, purchase Class A foam in the amount of $8,342.40. So you said it's been a long time since we've purchased Class A foam?
We hadn't purchased Class A foam since last year at this time. So hopefully we purchase this, it'll last a year. With our track record here lately, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Anyway, you've got several quotes in here, including freight, which freight can be a substantial amount, but the low bid with free freight is from Rowe Industries. We have bought from them before, $8,342, I think, for 8 55-gallon drums.
All right, so Rowe is the low bid. I see you've got several bids.
Correct, it's the low bid, plus it's free shipping, so
Free shipping.
it's a substantial amount.
Okay,
Yeah, it's the only one to offer that.
yeah, all right. Do you hear a motion to approve Rowe?
Make a motion to take the
Yeah.
low bid of Rowe.
So, okay. Paul made the motion, Leroy seconded that motion. Gentlemen, all in favor of the purchase of the phones, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving right along. 20th item on our agenda tonight is, how you pronounce it, WM-Wire's renewal? This is some IT renewal for some of your...
It's actually supposed to be VMware. This is just an annual subscription renewal.
Okay. Gentlemen, you have any questions for Larry?
Tell me what it is, Larry. What is VMware?
VMware is a virtualization. It's what we use to manage our virtual machines. All of our servers are managed through this. So this is the support and the annual subscription licenses.
I make a motion, we approve VMware for $87.66.36.
All right. Matt makes the motion to approve. Charles seconds that motion. Gentlemen, all in favor of the software renewal, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 21, this is another Larry deal. Managed engine renewal in the amount of $7,376.40.
Yes, and again, this is just standard annual renewals. We've worked really hard to try to get all of our renewals to occur here in the month of November. This is what we use to manage our support portals, our automatic password resets, and all of our network security and operations management.
I'll make the motion for that one as well, for $73.76.40.
Okay. Matt makes the motion and Charles seconds that motion. Gentlemen, all in favor of the approval of the managed engine renewals, anyway, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Number 22, This has to do with us purchasing 100 pagers from Mobile Communications. Cost of $11,100 to replace pagers from the following departments: Jackson Heights, Noonday, Red Springs, Troop, White House, and Winona. So Larry, you want to take this up as part of one of your projects?
Yes, so we've been working to replace all the aging pagers with new alphanumeric pagers. We've been coming to you either one department at a time or two departments at a time. That's what the board wanted originally. That process is going way too slow. It's really slowing us down, having to come to the board with each new department. What we'd like to do is we've looked at the number of department members on each department. We've actually estimated that we need about 120 pagers. We haven't been getting very many pagers back that turn up good or that are able to be repaired. Most of the ones that are good are ones that we've purchased within the last year to fix break fixes. So most of the old pagers we're not able to reuse. What we're asking the board to do is go ahead and approve 100 pagers so we can fast track getting these pagers issued to these departments. And then any pagers that are able to be repaired would return to inventory so that when they get new members on, or we do have a pager break, that we're able to issue those out faster. But at our current rate, we wouldn't get to Winona until probably April or May. So we'd really like y'all to approve this so we can try to get these done by, say, January or early February.
Biggers makes a motion to approve the purchase of the 100 pagers. Gentleman, second. All right, Matt makes a second. Gentlemen, all in favor of the approval of the purchase, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 23rd item on our agenda. Again, antivirus renewal, cost of $2,256.10. Larry?
This one's pretty easy. It's antivirus for all of our PCs and our servers. So a very important piece of software license that we require.
Okay. All right. Do I hear for approval of renewal?
I'll make the motion for
Okay.
$2,256.10 for antivirus renewal.
All right. Matt makes the approval and Charles seconds that motion to approve the purchase. Gentlemen, all in favor of the purchase or the renewal of that software license, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the board will go into executive session. We're going to go into executive session before I take item 24 or 25. We shall return.
Hey, Randy, is this prior to item 24?
This is prior to item 24.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. The board is returning from executive session, and we will now consider item number 24 on our agenda. Let's see. Who's going to make the motion? Leroy, were you making that motion?
On number 23?
24.
Yes.
Okay.
I move that item number 24 in regard to EMS committee report be tabled until board representatives can meet with the county judge and report back to the board.
Okay. Mr. Biggers made a motion. Do I hear a second to the motion?
I'll second.
All right. Matt seconds that motion. Gentlemen, all in favor of tabling item 24, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 25 on our agenda. I don't think we have anything to talk about 25. So we will pass on 25. It is now time for item number 26. This is the time each month that we talk to our volunteer fire chiefs, where they present, discuss some issues, board for future action. So, yeah, go ahead and stand up, Chief Arnold. Everything? All right, thank you, Chief Arnold. Chief Walker, yeah, back there.
Everything's good, Lord. Got a chance to travel with Terry to go look at that custom car. We're set up for the responders on that. It's in the line, so we're going to have two covers out of our cars. Everything's good, Lord.
Okay, thank you. Chief Peterson. Oh, hey, you hiding back there. Go ahead, Dale. Thank you very much. Chief York, I saw you somewhere. Okay, thank you, Chief. Chief Stone, Flint Gresham? Yes, Keith. All right, I like short and sweet. Jackson Heights. Who's going to talk about Jackson Heights tonight?
There he is.
Hey.
Right now, everything's good at Jackson. We are struggling with volunteers, getting enough people to show up at calls. A lot of our guys are truck drivers. They work from 4 a.m. until they get done. Very limited response during the week time. So we encourage the staffing model to continue where we can get some 24-hour staffing at Jackson Heights.
Thank you very much. Noonday. I don't see anybody. Okay. Ridge Springs. What? Okay. Troop. Okay, I hear you. I don't see you, but I hear you. Thank you, Chief Mager. Chief Champion from White House. All right, thank you, Chief. Winona, how you doing?
Everything's good this time.
All right, thank you. Number 27 is our training division. Chief?
All right, appreciate the opportunity. We've had a lot going on this month. We conducted water shuttle and tanker operations with some of our mutual aid friends at ESD1, Lindale. So we met up there at Red Springs and ran several drills with them. A lot of the paid staff participated in that, and that will be coming this month to the volunteers. We conducted flows in excess of 1,350 gallons a minute, and we sustained those for long periods of time. So when you think about that, that's pretty impressive. We did that with 5 of our tankers, 3,000-gallon tankers, and really exhibited what the capability of the ESD is through the box alarm system. Very, very impressive thing for a guy that's been doing this for a number of years. I was really impressed by it. We went to Purtis Creek and participated in an operational readiness exercise with the Texas A&M Forest Service, TDM, or Department of Emergency Management, as well as Texas Parks and Wildlife. And we went in and did some teaching stations with wildland firefighters. Our crews participated. We stood up our command platform, exercised our antennas and communications capabilities. Our incident management team had a great time of fellowship and learning together, and really continued to strengthen the bond in this North Texas region with players like Longview, Gladewater, Athens. The list goes on of folks that will continue to potentially answer large-scale events with. And so we're shoring up those relationships and really bringing our folks up to speed and giving them some experience in those arenas. We did start our new employee orientation today, so we have 30 folks in our, I hate to call it cadet school, but our new hire orientation program, our first one. That is a 2-week program where we acclimate these folks to ESD2. Many of them come with many years of experience and certifications. But we felt it necessary to spend the time with them to be sure we get them fully acclimated and ready to do work here in ESD2. This morning, they start off every morning with PT, and so they were running in the neighborhoods there close to Flint Gresham number 1, and we had so many different people that stopped and complimented on what was going on, and just excited to see that kind of thing happening there in their neighborhood. So it was a real enjoyable thing for us. I was walking behind them, so I had the opportunity to visit with these people. So they'll be continuing on that orientation program. They'll be over here tomorrow, and we have some really good topics to bring them up to speed as we move along. We are building several props. We have some things scheduled in the coming month as far as some forcible entry training, and again, the water shuttle operations that we'll continue to cover with the volunteer crews at a number of different drills. So we've had a lot of good things going on. Our training captains are now on shift here at ARP. So there's one for A, B, and C shift working 24-hour schedule, and they are stationed here. So there'll be a frontline supervisor out of this area here as well as participating in training. And those folks will be available at night for the drills with the volunteers. With that, do you have any questions for me? All right, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
All right, thank you. Item number 28 is our Director of IT report. Larry?
Thank you. We've had 53 tickets resolved since the last meeting. We have 62 holding in the queue. We're doing a rate review right now with all of our ISP, our internet service providers. We do this annually around budget time. We're also, we just did all the renewal negotiations, which is what y'all approved tonight. We've moved offices. We're no longer in the front office. We're in the room where y'all used to have board meetings because we're running out of space at admin. So IT's kind of moved into that back building, which is pretty conducive to what we're doing. We're working on the pager replacements. The most recent that we did was Dixie and Flint. And we're also evaluating new tablets for the tablet replacement project that is budgeted for this year. I was also off for about 2.5, almost 3 weeks due to some medical issues. So we did also respond out there at Purtis Creek as well in support of the command platform and the tower trailer. So unless y'all have any questions for me, that's all I have for you at this time.
All right, thank you. 29, Chief of Operations report.
I think one of the biggest significant things we've got is we've got a meeting, is it Thursday, Charles?
Yes.
We got a meeting with an entity in the Van Mineola area up there, trying to kick off something to do with finding a place to put some trucks, a couple of trucks, trying to figure out who can volunteer. We're working diligently in that area to try to bring better fire protection up there. So we've got that meeting Thursday. So hopefully we'll have something to bring to the board at the next meeting. Other than that, I attended the training Chief Clint was talking about. It's great training. Our training department's doing a fine job, and they're training every day. And at night, I know they're going to some of the volunteer departments, and they're having joint training with combined departments and all, so good times in training. Other than that, that's all.
Gentlemen, it's item number 30. Anything you need to say before we pack up and leave tonight? Okay. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we are over. We are adjourned.